Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. Paper bag albums. There's such a thing at the moment, and they're so easy to make. We're going to make two different ones today, depending on the type of paper bags you've got. Now, the ones I want to use, like these, see how we get all these they've all gone from plastic at the shops. They've now gone into these paper bags. They're a little bit thicker, so they're not like your normal sandwich paper bags, those sorts of things. So they give you that nice thickness. They're also nice and crispy and all the rest. I've got a pile of these ones, with the gusseted bottom in them, with the handles. I don't want the handles. So the first one we're going to do is using this one. I have already taken off the handles, so all I do is I pull that section out. Clean it up a little bit, but you don't have to worry too much with it. What we want to do is pull our bag out. So open it out like this and flick these ones back out. Okay, so that we lose the gusset and the whole thing becomes flat. That's a good word. Once we get down to this section, pop this bit out, like so, and push that section back out as well. Okay. Same with the other side. And then we've got that little bit there. Just refolding your folds out the opposite way to the way they were originally. They're easy to do. It's just refolding them. And then it's just a matter. I'm going to use this side because that's where it automatically wants to crease down. And we're just going to fold it back on itself like that. But now we've got those gussets out instead of in. So it's just a matter of pushing your folds the opposite way. Give it a good crease. If you need to sort out some of these corners, like this one, just so that they're nice and straight, just work your way through those. And we've got a tough little one. It's going to be covered anyway, like so. Technically, that's it. All we've done is refolded it. We're going to glue this piece in so that it's stuck back down. Now, you can use any glue you like. You could just run a piece of double-sided tape. Because it's all going to be covered, it'll hold it down further anyway. And I just want a piece of scrap here. Make sure that my glue's running this week. I was just using it a while ago. So just hold it back out and glue all that down. Doesn't have to be fantastic, because as I said before, because they're covered, it'll hold all that down anyway. So just a little bit of glue in there and flatten that down. Okay, put your lid back on your glue so that it doesn't dry out. So now what we've got, now this bag, by the way, this one measures, because all bags are different. They all measure different bits and pieces. So this one originally was about 10.5 inches or 26.5 centimetres by 6.25 or 15.5 centimetres. That's its folded size. So now what we've got is we've still got that same length, but because we've added the gusset, we've now got the gussets going the other way. It's now 8.25 inches or 21 centimetres, which still fits an A4 sheet beautifully. So that's why I like these ones, but any bag will do. So with this style, what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over now. So this is the piece that we've just glued down. We're now going to fold it over, but we want to leave a little bit. We're not folding it dead on that bit. So where I want to fold it, it's probably about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, or centimetre wise, 1/2 centimetre, like so. Now you can score that if you want. You can just fold it over if you want. Just line it all back up so that all your lines meet and it's fairly straight as you can. Because these are so thick, and they are very thick, it takes a bit to fold them sometimes. So I'm just going to use my bone scorer just to really push down on that. So you can see where this was and where our new fold is. So when this is covered, all of that will be covered anyway. So that's technically our opening flap. Our other side is just going to fold back on itself. Okay, so that'll fold, and again, I'm not meeting that dead smack in there. I don't want the extra thickness in there. I want to be able to make this into an album and have pages in it. So if I put this right in here, it's going to make all this too thick. So we're just going to fold it over, bring it again about that 1/2 centimetre, 1/8 of an inch in, line it all up and crease it out. That, in essence, is it. How easy is that? Okay, you're going to cover it. You're going to put an album in it, put your signatures in it, and it's done. Now, it's up to you whether you want to glue this, whether you want to cover this in here and in here so that you've then got an extra pocket. And I'm going to show you this one finished. So, same bag, exactly the same bag. So if it sits on, you'll see, right? But this one's covered. So all I've done is added a piece of seam binding that I've scrunched up, and I've attached it under this. So it just wraps around. And I've done this with just music sheets. Didn't really use anything else, just some music sheets that I had sitting around because I realised I've got so many music sheets. So this one I've left opened and I've covered in here so that I've got an extra pocket. I've then popped a pocket down here. So there's a pocket down there. We've got our journal in here, ready to be written on, add our ephemera, do all sorts of things in here. And then I've popped another pocket in here. Okay, just a little bit of lace to, you know me, a little bit of lace everywhere. And then that, as I said before, I've added it, I've actually added it under this section here. And then I've popped this one on, and then I've popped my word on with some foam tape, which then goes all the way across that, just to really give that a good sturdy fixture. So wrapping that around, I'm going that way so I can tuck it in, wrap it around a couple of times and just tuck that in. We'll close that beautifully. Right, first album, that's how we do it. That's with a big one. Let's say we want a little bit bigger. We don't necessarily want a tall, skinny album. We've got a different size bag. Sitting those ones to the side somewhere. Now, I have these bags as well. And I've got quite a few of these ones as well. These ones are long, skinny ones. So they measure 8¼ inches, or what did we say that was? 21. But they're really narrow. So 3.5 or 9 centimetres. But if I did the same with this one as I do with the other one, I'm going to end up with just this tiny little square album. These ones are already pre-folded there where they've been. So they all came pre-folded. These ones I've flattened out a bit more. So I'm going to use 2 of these ones. And to make a slightly larger album, what we're going to do is we're going to grab and do exactly the same thing as we just did with our other one. Popping my hand in there, pushing them out, like so. Refolding all my folds, down to that corner, down to that corner. Most times they'll just want to flick into place for you anyway. That's where my fold already is, so I'm just going to fold it up onto that line. Okay. I'm not going to glue this on this time. I want to show you a few other bits and pieces. Right, so with our other one, what we're going to do with that is we're going to just chop off this section. You can do that with scissors. You can do it with your trimmer if your trimmer is able to. Let's do it with scissors because most people are not going to have a trimmer. If you've got just a little V-blade trimmer or something like that, it's not going to get through all of that thickness. So if you just get your scissors and you're just chopping it off fairly straight, like so, okay? So that's off. We're now going to do exactly the same thing. Pull our gussets out. Like so, okay? And what we're going to do is join. You will see these have a join on them. There it is. And so I'm going to add it to the same spot. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue one into the other. Makes no difference whether you go in with that one or in with that one. Wholly and solely up to you. But we're going to glue to make this even longer. Okay? Because we've now got this extra width where we've pushed our gussets out. We've now got 5.5 inches instead of that 3.5 inches, or 14 centimetres instead of the 9 centimetres. You can move this anywhere you like. Don't do it too thick because it's too far down, because we can just trim this section off, and this gets really, really thick once you put that other layer onto it. So we're just going to use a little bit of glue. Now, I'm going to put this one over that one. So I'm just going to glue that. And I'm just going to use my glue stick. I just use a single strip of glue stick. Like so. A little bit up here. Right. Now I'm going to pop that bit onto that bit. But what we want to do is make sure we're straight. It doesn't take much to get on. But what you want to do is make sure you're straight. So find yourself a line, whether it's your board, a mat, a ruler that's laid down, whatever. Line it up with a line. And then this one, you can manoeuvre so that you're on that line as well. Because half the time it looks straight, but it'll be kinked. So always work with your grid. Double check that you're all nice and straight along there. And now you know that this full width is straight. Okay? So now we've got an even longer one. But what? I'll keep that there. It was that I wanted to get rid of. So what we're going to do again is we're going to fold this one over to make our front cover. So I'm just folding that straight over. You can see I've gone down a little bit from there. Give that a nice good crease. Like so. And then this one, I can work out where I want it and how wide I want it. So if I fold that exactly where it is now, because now our length, we haven't done our new length, have we? Our new length now on this, let's go inches first, is 13.5 inches, or 34 centimetres. So we've given ourselves that huge area. So depending on what we want for the size of our album now, let's say I'd like a 5 by 5.5. So that's dead on that line. So I'm just going to fold that over at that line. Fold that back. give that the good crease. And now I can trim this end off. But because I've trimmed all that extra stuff off and moved my gussets out, I can use my trimmer now. So I just want to work out where I want to go with that one. We'll grab my pencil. This is where my fold is. I want to go back just a little bit. I'm going to trim off that. Again, you can use your scissors, you can use your blade. Whoops, you can use your trimmer. I'm just going to pop this in my trimmer because it'll now, or in my little guillotine, because it's now the thickness that my little guillotine will take, or a trimmer will take. Nice and easy. You've just got that, which can, of course, be used for other things. So now we've got this. Okay, it's going to go that way. So this time we've got a larger album. Right, so there's that point. Now I'm going to bring over one that I've already started on so that we can finish it off. So exactly the same thing. There's that, and I've brought this one back even further, and there's that one. So I have started to cover this. I've done this earlier because I wanted to put some texture paste in there. Now I mixed a little bit of glitter, which is that sort of one. A little bit of glitter with my texture paste. Pulled it out, mixed it all up, and chucked some glitter in. I was hoping for a slightly more glittered effect, but it's in there, but it's not quite. And I wanted a really thick one with this. Now, when I'd finished doing this, I then, whatever I had left, I just picked up odd pages. But I did them lighter, as in not so chunky. So I've just used up the rest that I had sitting in my palette and put them on some pages that I had sitting here, ready to go. I love using these on pages. I love having them sitting there. And then when I'm sitting playing around, I can do this sort of thing. So this is just the corner of a doily that was left over. I've grabbed some coffee dyed book page. It's got some stenciling on it, and that's made a perfect page tuck that will sit in there as a pocket. And I've got these sorts of things then sitting around. They're for afternoons where I don't know really what I want to do. They're a mass make type thing. I've already got piles of these done because whenever I want to use it for a project, I then just finish off my palette and, you know, do up a pile of them and sit them in. I just have a bag sitting to the side. Oh, where are we? Here we are, here we are. Somewhere, there it is. There it is. So I have a bag sitting here to the side with a pile of these done, ready to go. Sometimes I've put some paint in them, depending on the project that I want. I've got little bits on all sorts of paper. You can see this is my new favourite stencil because I've got lots of it. So those ones will be just added to that, and they will all go in there ready just to use when I'm ready to sit down and just do something when the brain's not really working, and I can make up piles of these, or I can just use them in my journals as other bits and pieces. So that's done, and that's why this one's partly covered. So we're going to cover the inside now. What I've done with this one though, different closure this time I want. I want a tie like the coin holders type thing, but I've used brads. So I've used little Diamante brads. This time I've left this open like that so that I could put my brad in, okay? If I'd covered it, my brad would have then been through. I can cover it now if I want, or I can just glue this closed, which is what I'm going to do with this one. It's up to you which way you want to go. So I've covered it with this. I've worked out vaguely where I wanted my brad, and then I put my stencil on so that my brad would end up between those areas. So I just had the hole marked there and then worked out my stencil, did my stencil, came back this morning. That's all dry. I've popped my brad in, ready to go. And my other side has the brad in as well. So again, what I've done with that, and that's why I've got this sitting here, is I've covered this, right? I've then grabbed this very carefully undone this bit. Just careful that you're not going to rip it all, like so, so that when I can then pop my brad in, I've worked out my spot, so I've got brad on this side. Let's say my brad, I put this brad in round about here. All right. So this one I've then sat on my grid, put my ruler where this brad is, and then worked out where I want that brad. Okay, I've undone this. I've got out my little pokey measurement thing. If I could find my little pokey tool, would be even easier. I've then made my mark over that, remembering that I've already put my patterned paper on this. I can then stick my brad through, fold out the legs, glue that back down, and my brad is fully encased in this section, which is what we're up to here. So my brad is fully encased under there, and this has all been glued back down, so you don't see the legs anywhere. I decorated all the rest of this as well before, because I wanted my brad to sit over all of that. So the inside, I've got my few little pieces of paper cut. I'm missing one said piece of paper. Get that one? No. I am missing a piece of paper. Well, that's a bit rude. I know that one's that one. It's already been edged, so we'll glue that one down. Just using your glue stick is fine. Making sure you get your corners. Now, when I did my other one, as I said, I used music sheets, and the majority of those, 90% of those, 98% of those, were vintage sheets, so I had to be careful, like always, when I'm popping them in and when I'm then flattening them out. So I couldn't use this, so it's all just done with my fabric like so. When I'm not using vintage, I like to use this so that it really pushes them down in there like that, like so. Right, this piece is for this one. Now, when we're doing these, the easiest way to do it, there's my line. It's all been inked so that I can see exactly where it is. I like to have a border, so I want to go here to there. So I want about 2 inches and an eighth, not quite 5.5 centimetres. So I've cut this to that size, to the exact same size as this one as well, so that it sits in here. Now I can see where all this is. If I grab my pencil, I'm going to make a mark there, because I want the same border on those sides as well. So there, there, there and there. And that's the easiest way to mark and measure those sorts of bits. So if you can then find your pencil marks, it's even easier. There's that one. Again, you could just do it with scissors, rule a line, do it with scissors. You do you. And there. All right. So that little bit will need to be inked where I've just trimmed those off, because I've already inked the rest. And I'm just using a darker ink on this one. My bag was actually inked in my brushed corduroy, but my edges for these are done in gathered twigs. So that's all ready to go on there like that now. So we'll put that one away. Look, grab that one back out. Glue this one. It's always easier to have nothing underneath your glue book while you're gluing, but, you know, needs must. Just try and get your corners. Putting that one over over there. Once again, down, leaving my border. I can go over a little bit. Give it a good push. Because it's got lots of layers underneath this. And that brad, everything else. But what it's done is tidied all that up. All that bag edge up. I want to know what I've done with that other piece. I reckon I've picked it up when I've moved these. Alright, so while I'm still trying to find it, that's what I get for cleaning up. I had a cut. What I've done is I've taken it from this paper pad, by the way. I'm not certain where I got this paper pad. I'm really not certain, sorry. It's been sitting over there for ages. It's around about a 6x6. But it has 3 of each of these beautiful sheets in it. All lace, that is so me. And I love that one so much that I won't use it. Because I did pull it out at one stage and then tucked it back in because I just won't use it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful one. It may have come from Daiso. It's a Mocard one. I don't think I got it from Team. I don't know. In all honesty, I do not know where I got it from. So I've just got a collection of bits here. There it is. We better stick that one down to start with. It had mixed up with my signatures. There's that one. So we'll glue this guy down. We might need another glue sheet. That's the last of our gluing. Unless we're popping pockets on the inside, that's it. So we're just going to do a standard 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And it's so easy. And you've got a journal done. They're great little journals, especially if you leave these open to take on travels with you. They're not very large, so they'll fit in your travel bags and all the rest. But they're so sturdy. Because they've been made with these bags, these new wave shopping bags as such, they're so sturdy because they need to be, because they're holding all your shopping in them normally. So you're not going to find, look, they are so sturdy without having to go to making spines and all the rest. Right, so as I said, a couple of scraps that were sitting around my desk. There's always stuff sitting around my desk, so I've just grabbed them. I'm not one that needs exactly the same size all the way through. So I've got a book page there. I've got some leftover. Let's cut this one down to my height that I want. So it's going to sit in here. About there. I like it a little bit smaller. You can centre it if you want, or you can just do what I'm doing and chop it off. All right, there's that one. So that one's in there. I've got one of those in there. I've got some paper packaging. That'll be about the same size, so I'm just going to trim that one off as well. You could put them all together and then just trim the whole thing together if you like. It's up to you. I've just folded these, ready to go. There's my pencil mark. I love brown paper packaging. Brown, grey, green, you know, all those lovely muted tonings. That'll sit in there. I've got some coffee dyed invoice paper. This is so thin and lovely. I want to make sure I keep that bit on there. Chop him about there. I might even just tear this one. What do you reckon? They don't always have to be sat on the trimmer and make sure they're nice and straight. They can be just torn. Give yourself a different sort of edge. All right, there's that one. That'll go in there. And I've got just a strip piece left. But, you know, I like the fact that it's crooked and all the rest. We need around, can't be any longer than that. So about there we'll be fine. Where was it? About there. A little bit further in. We might go a bit in like that. Pick those up. Let's see how we're going for size at the bottom. Trim off a bit of that. I'm just going to take it to there. Right. And there's that one. So I don't know how many pages we've got there. Even them up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it gives us 10 pages, really. That's that. Couple of paper clips to hold those together while I work out where I'm going to put my holes. Now this one I've moved down so that it will at least get anchored twice. Okay, otherwise you'll find that it might just get anchored to that bottom, to that center hole, and it won't get anything else. So I just needed that to put them in place. No great measurement. I'm just going to go, I don't want that, I want that. All right, so somewhere in the middle, about there, down there, and up there, like that. So now all I'm going to do is fit those ones in there, and about where they're going to go. About there. That gives all that, that gives all that. Now I'm just going to grab another paper clip. Might need a larger one. Let's have a look and see how we go. Oh, there we go. Right. And now I'm going to hold this up. And I'm just going to go straight back through those holes. Let's hope. Yep, look at that. Dead smack in the centre. So 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. Don't you love it when they always come out, when they do come out the centre? It doesn't always happen, depending on how, not good you are, but how much attention you pay. And usually I don't pay any attention because I just want to put it in. So we're just going to grab something to put that in. Let's go a darker colour with this one. Let's have a look. Might go that. What do I have that's even darker? Let's have a look. What that would be like. That might be nice because it's got that blue with that, hasn't it? Let's go that. Let's go that. So, something like this would be quite nice, I'm thinking. It's that one. A little bit more. Right, around about 3. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Chop that. Set that one away. In there. Grab a needle. What do I have with a biggish head there? Probably not enough. Let's have a look. Might use my needle doobie. I'm thinking. And that one. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. And I really must pull out some of my bigger needle eyes, I think, for some of these. Right, that's that. Straight through my centre one, which has moved. There it is. Keeping a little bit left up to the top. I'm looking at that thinking which one was the top. Go through there. If you need to, go through each one if they've moved too much. Depends on how well you clip them down with your paper clips first. Again, I tend to be a little bit lazy and just, you know, that'll do type thing, and then have to sit there and do this. There it is. But when it's only a small signature, you don't have many pages in there, there's no real problem with it. Right, so now we want to come, I want that one on there. Hanging on to that one makes it tight. And we're going to go through this so that we're back out on the other side of our main thread. Take our needle off. Pull it tight. When you're pulling it tight, what you want, I'm going to hang on to those, is for these to have a twang. Okay. Tying a knot. One way. And then tie it the other way so it won't undo. Then you can either attach things to them or cut them right off. I tend to hang them like that to start with while I think of which other way I want to finish them off. It's just while I'm thinking. Right, so there's that. There's that. All done and dusted. How easy was that for an album? This has taken us 37 minutes. We've gone through the other one. We've gone through this. Apart from the front decorations, we've just about done the rest because I did the other fold on that one. We want to put something on that. Now, whether we want to do the same thread, which I just chucked over there, because that might look nice. Let's have a look. I'm going to go around under that one. And I will tie that, but I just, at this stage, want to have a look at what this thread's going to look like on it. Or whether I just want to go with some plain black. I don't mind that thread on it because it still matches in with all those colours, doesn't it? So yes, what we might do is use that thread. So I'm going to actually tie a knot on one side, like so. Back with the other side. So it's the same sort of knot as we use on the inside of our signatures. And I can trim that bit off, or I can leave him down just to hang on and give it an extra bit of oomph. Not oomph, it just gives it an extra look. This one we can go round. You know, you really only need to go round once to hold it, if your brad's tight enough. Otherwise, just keep doing that and let that hang down like that. How hard? 2 journals. Different closures, but technically the same. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed these. I hope it makes up for last week's disaster that I had. I did finish it. Oh, it's put away. I did finish it, but, you know, we won't even go there because I should have just gone and got more glue to start with. That'll teach me. 2 paper bag albums. Same sort of way. Different sizes to show you how to add on to make them squarer. Otherwise, you're tending to going to always end up with the slimline look. Don't get me wrong. I love the slimline look. They're just I like things that hold in my hands like that. But sometimes we want larger. So that will give you a wider journal. And it's so easy by just joining a couple together. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, hit that thumbs up. I would love you to subscribe. We're getting there, girls. It's awesome. Thank you so much. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.